Hello everyone, my name is Capp and welcome back to the channel, another 7 Days that I video, and we are on Alpha 18, baby! Yes, it's finally here. This is the Streamers event weekend, so fortunately I've been able to be a part of the Streamers group, meaning that we're going to get it just a couple days before the rest of the public does, and it is an experimental build. So if all goes well and there's no major bugs or anything, there's a chance that it could be released to the public in an experimental build on Sunday night or Monday morning. This video is going to go up on Friday, showing off some of the new things that's in there, and that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to show you guys some of the new stuff. As I'm standing here in front of my new buddy, this is the new Demolisher Zombie. I'm not going to go into an in-depth on all of the things that I'm showing you here. I'm just doing this as a preview, kind of an overview of all the new things they've added and some of the things they've changed. Now, if you see in the title of this video, yes, I was also given a couple keys to give away, and I'm going to give away a key to this game in this video. So what you have to do to win is basically just leave a comment. Yeah, I would prefer if you be subscribed. Obviously, I can't force you to adhere to that, but you know, it'd be nice if you would subscribe just to help to continue the channel to grow. We're almost to 100,000 subscribers. So all you have to do is just type a comment, something down below like, you know, Cap, you're the greatest YouTuber on the planet. I really look up to you as a role model and as a person, and I would be humbled to win this code here. And then tomorrow, Saturday, 10/5, I'm going to do a random drawing. I'm going to be using software to do the name drawing for me. And here's what I'll do after that, and then I'll get into the actual videos because I know people are waiting for it, is I will respond to your comment saying, hey, congratulations, you won, and I'll give you my email address. Then you email me, and I'll send you the code. You have 24 hours from the time I respond to your comment to write back and let me know you actually want it, and then I have a place to send it. If not, the code will go to somebody else. And if you're watching this video down the road and you wonder if it's been given, I will put the winner of the code in the video description down below. Also, since this is experimental, if I'm showing off anything and they change in this video after it goes into stable or whatever, I'll update that in the video description down below too. But in the meantime, let's get to all the things that they added and changed. The first one that I'm going to talk about is the Demolisher Zombie. This bad boy has got a ton of health. He's got 1,000 health on him, and you can see he's got a nice little grenade kit on there. And once you defeat this zombie and he goes down for the count and he is ready to be killed, then he explodes. And we'll go into a lot more in-depth over how much his damage does and all that other stuff in a later video. This is just to show it. This guy only shows up during the Blood Moon Hordes, and I'm not entirely sure just yet which day he starts showing up, if he can show up in the first horde or if it's a little bit further on. But anyway, that's the new zombie they added right here, this bad boy right here. Alright, we've got a slew of new weapons here. We've got just a basic standard stone spear. You can see we have just a stone spear, we have an iron spear, and a steel spear. The stone spear and the iron spear, you'll be able to craft these pretty easily without having to have any kind of schematics to have to deal with. The steel spear, I believe you're going to have to be able to have the schematic to be able to make it, but these two you can craft as long as you have the necessary equipment here. And so spears can be used just as a stabbing thing, or you can right click and get ready to chuck that bad boy. And you can see it does have a little bit of a distance to there, and then you can recollect it afterwards. And of course it'll probably take some damage as it goes along. But these are the three new items they have there. I'm going to do a full video over spears and like your total, you know, how far you can chuck it. It looks like a pretty good little distance too. Let's go down there and get that bad boy. Man, yeah, I cleared some distance with that. I don't even really know where it went, but it doesn't matter. Oh, here it is. And that is going to be based on one of the skill perks too, which we'll look at as well while we're here, is that they've changed up the way skills are done now. They've rebalanced it so that you can focus more on different kinds of skills. They've kind of moved things around so that every possible build, if you want to do an agility build or an intellect build or a fortitude build or perception build, you can learn things in there, like perception javelin master. And as you level this up, you can see that you do more damage, more range, etc. And so we'll cover more of all the changes that they've added to the skill tree at a later date. But you can see we got the three different spears down here now. They're nice and cool. They also added the standard baseball bat, so you can go, you know, melee zombies in the head with them if you want to. And it's nice. It's very, very nice. It's just a wooden baseball bat, so I think it's something you can craft at a pretty low level here. And then, of course, you have an upgraded or a new version of the sledgehammer. The original sledgehammer, the steel one, is there, but now you can craft a stone sledgehammer. It's a low-level one here, but that way you can have access to sledgehammer abilities very early on in the game without having to try and be able to craft forged steel to be able to make one or whatever. So, them putting a new primitive-style sledgehammer in the game is pretty cool as well. Alright, the new guns they added, we now have a double barrel shotgun here, and then of course it holds just 2 bullets at a time, then you have to reload, and if you quick tap, you can fire off both shots like that at the same time. So if you have something you do a lot of damage to, you can. We have the M60, this is the Rambo gun here. I want to take a better look at this one. Let's lock the camera around here and take a look at that bad boy. That is awesome, and it's got the bayonet on the end of it there. I'm not quite sure if you can use the bayonet yet to, you know, whoop up on zombies or not, but this is the Rambo gun here. So you can see it does have some climb when you're shooting it or whatever, so you know, you have to feather the trigger a little bit here, but this is a really high-powered machine gun. It's nice that we have another alternative to it. And then they brought in this thing is called a junk turret, which you can set on the ground. It works just like a regular turret, or you can carry it. And if you set it on, if you set it on the ground, then it works just like the rest of the turrets do. And with the junk turret, it fires scrap metal that you have in here. So basically, scrap iron and things that you have in there that would be considered junk that you're not going to need as far as bullets, this is what it shoots. Now, if you run too far away from it, it will go ahead and disengage. You have to be a certain range to it. You can see it just goes to sleep. It gets all sad and looks to the ground like, oh, nobody wants to play with me. But then as you get close, it goes back again. And if any zombies happen to spawn in nearby, like Sylvia, you can see it will do some damage to them. It's not as powerful as the regular turrets, and we'll cover more of these in a more in-depth video later on, but you can see it still does a pretty good job, and then you can just pick it back up, and you can do the shooting yourself here. So that is pretty awesome and fantastic. I really like that. Just set it right outside your door and call it good. Alright, they upgraded the way we can do melee. No longer do you have to just run around bare fist and punching and doing nothing. Now you can get wrapped knuckles, you can get brass knuckles, or steel knuckles. And the wrapped knuckle, or the knuckle wraps basically, it's like leather wraps that go around your fist or whatever, increases the amount of damage you can do to them. And with brass knuckles, obviously does the same thing. And then your steel knuckles, you basically have like pieces of scissors, knives, and corkscrews welded to some brass knuckles, so you can do some serious bleeding damage when you punch a zombie with them too. It's going to be a nice option we have when we are wanting to do a specific kind of build. So, you know, I'm thinking about doing a gameplay of melee only using just these kinds of knuckle wraps and steel knuckles and brass knuckles. That could definitely change up the way things work, especially now in the game you can do a little bit more sneaky. And also, while I'm talking about that too, zombies now have a better chance of making you bleed out when you get bit, but if you have like knuckle wraps and such on there, you can punch them in the face and actually knock out their teeth. And there's a skill that goes along with it, which we'll cover later on too, to where once you do that, they can't bite you anymore. So that's pretty awesome. Now, something they changed here is that the bow that we're used to, this old school little bow right here, this is now considered a primitive bow. And so you can still make this very early on if you want to, but it's not nearly as powerful as it used to be. Instead, what they did is they brought in and they added a new wooden bow, and they changed the old one to the primitive bow. So the wooden bow looks a little bit different, and it's a little bit more powerful, and shoots a little further, does a lot more damage, of course. And then the next thing they did is they brought in a compound crossbow. So instead of just having the compound bow and the crossbow, now we have a combination of the two. So you have the standard crossbow, and then you have this compound bow that shoots a lot further range and does a lot more damage. And again, we'll go into a further in-depth with those at a later date as well. And then the last things that they add as far as weapons go is we have two different kinds of explosives. We have standard pineapple grenades, these old school military looking ones. Pull the pin, throw the grenade, and, well, I guess you gotta actually pull the pin and then throw the grenade, and it will go nice and boom. See, it does a decent little damage, didn't do any damage to the ground. And then the other one we have here is the timed explosive. This one's pretty much just like a satchel charge here. So you hear it beeping. I don't know quite sure on all the range of this one. Again, this is going to be one of those that I'll do some more testing stuff with later on, like if you can adjust how much time you can do this, if there's a specific time, or if it's only just throw it and 5 seconds later it explodes. So that's all the new weapons that we have here. Also, to go along with the Demolisher Zombie, they added two new kinds of wildlife here. We have the mountain lion, or bobcat here. Well, this isn't a bobcat. That's just a traditional mountain lion. And we have a coyote. This is what their early models look like. So if the way they look in a little bit later videos or something change, that's how it works out here. Both of these are feral creatures. If you have them on here, they have a new jump ability that animals can do. You can see them trying to jump at you there. So These can jump similar to like what the spider zombies could. If they're running at you and jump, they can clear some range. And also they changed up the way animals and the world works now. So if like a bear's coming towards zombies and they get attacked, then the zombies will attack the bears as well. So it's not just one mauling the other. They do interact with each other a little bit better. So if the bobcat here, or the mountain lion, or the coyote are attacking a zombie, they'll actually try and attack them back. So these are the two new animals they have. Both of them, from what I've been able to see so far, is they can definitely track you for a little ways. And they aren't super duper loud. I mean, they're kind of stealthy creatures to begin with in real life, so they will definitely sneak up behind you and eat your butt if you're not paying attention. One of the visual things they changed in the game that I really like is they went through and they put in HD icons for everything. So you can see I'm in the creative menu right now and I just put up all the different bullets, and you can see all the bullets here actually have a more 3D rendered model to them. They're nice and bright, they have better colors, they have more light showing on them, and so all the items that you see in this game now have updated icons to go along with them. They just look so much better than they did before. You can see kind of blown up here. It's less flat looking. A minor change, but it's one that's very welcome, and I do appreciate the effort they put into that. Something else they added, and if you've been following along with Joel on his channel, he showed off some of these here, is they added books, and by the books, they are series. So like you have the Fireman's Almanac, volumes 1 through 7. And as you get these, each one of them will teach you something. Like the very first one you use is as conditioning in extreme temperatures given 10% greater hypothermal resistance. You use that. Part 2 does some more things, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and each series has 7 books. Like there's the Night Stalk, and there's the Lucky Looter, and there's the Magnum Enforcer, there's the Batter Up, and there's the Great Heist, Wasteland Treasures. There's a bunch of different series. Shotgun Messiah, there's a Sniper one, there's the Machine Gunner. And then after you've learned all of the items, you've found all the books, and you take them all there, then you go under your skill tree, and you'll see this far section, this perk books. And as you've gone through them, once you have all 7 of them read, then it unlocks down here. You get this extra bonus one at the very end you can unlock. So sprint longer and never encumbered in the burnt forest. And the Great Heist is you learn how to crack lockpicks and break in locks 20% faster. So by finding and using these books, you can improve your skills just from learning the books, and that is going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm happy they put that in there. It gives us another thing to learn as we're going. Instead of just finding books that don't really do anything, now they have a story that goes with them, and there's a lot more to it. And they brought back schematics as well. Schematics work pretty much similar to the way they did in the past, where in order to be able to make any of the higher level items, you have to have the schematic for it. So you can craft 1 through 5 if you have the right materials and the right skills for them, but in order to be able to make the 6th one, you have to be able to have the schematic for it. So that is something they changed. I know some people were saying they didn't really like the fact that you had to find a schematic to be able to make the most powerful item that's there, but it's what we have, so it's not too big a deal. It just kind of mixes it up a little bit. Oh, look at these HD icons for the food down here. Chili dog. Oh, yeah. One of the things they brought back also is the new dysentery and food poisoning. They've changed it up a little bit here. So now every kind of food except for canned food has a chance to give you food poisoning. You can see the canned foods here is still nice and safe. But if you go down to the old sham sandwich, which also has a nice little icon of it, you see it's got a 12% chance to give you food poisoning. Chili dogs give you a 4% chance of food poisoning. And once you get food poisoning, it's not really that good for you. Food poisoning will cause you to throw up, and it'll cause your food just to go down. And you have to eat food to get it to go back up, and then you have to just wait for the food poisoning to go away. And something else they added now is that you can get a chance to get dysentery even from regular bottled water. Pure mineral water is, pretty much nothing. You don't have to worry about it at all, but bottled water, which we're used to having there, has a 3% chance of giving you dysentery versus murky water that you haven't cooked yet gives a 12% chance. Once you get dysentery, you're going to be blowing it out the back end until you drink something like some goldenrod tea. That will help cure dysentery. And so they're trying to force people to, have to branch out a little bit on the way they work with food so that you're not just, oh, I've got, 40 stacks of regular water that I just picked up, no big deal, and I just eat anything I pick up and barely have any repercussions from it. Now, whether or not some people think it's a balance issue, who knows? We'll see how it plays out and how much actually changes as the version goes on. But at least now you know that you do have to kind of keep an eye on what you eat and what you drink, or you may be blowing it out both ends. Now, they did a lot of balancing in the game based on user feedback. They looked at tons and tons of people talking on the forums and Twitter and in videos or whatever, and took a lot of their feedback to heart as to what players wanted to see differently in the game, and one of the things they changed was how stamina works, especially for early levels. A big problem people had, especially if you're new to the game when you very first started off, you're level 1, dropped into a brand new world, you got your stone axe, and just trying to beat into a door or a crate, you run out of stamina a lot. So now using tools like this stone axe, you can see your stamina doesn't go down near as much as it used to. And same thing with the wooden club. It just doesn't go down that fast. Your stamina regens a lot faster without having to have any kind of perks in there. And then, of course, as you have heavier items and stuff that you're using, bigger tools or whatever, it'll make your stamina go down more, as you would expect. But they designed it so that beginning players, or when you first start off in a world and you need to come over here and chop down a tree, that you can do some work on the tree without being completely exhausted just after 4 whacks on the tree. That is something that I know I personally appreciate, just to kind of get things going. See, I'm beating on the tree now, I haven't let off of it yet, and my stamina, it dips, but it's climbing back up at a relatively quick pace. So I can work on this one tree without stopping and just go, you know, I have to catch my breath after beating down just one tree. So that is definitely something beginning players, and regardless, the very first of any new game you play is going to be great. Another thing they changed that'll be very beneficial for beginning players, or pretty much anybody at all, is that they changed the way melee works. Now, so used to, if you didn't have the crosshairs right on their head, basically when you swung, you would completely miss, or you would miss even if you were just barely off. You'd swing right over their shoulder. But they changed it so now that when you swing, it does kind of an arc. So even if you're kind of close, you still do what is considered glancing blows. That's not going to do as much damage as if you hit square on like that, but if you get kind of close and you're running backwards and you hit them in the arm, that they will actually react a little bit. And if you have a bunch of zombies nearby and you're swinging wildly, you can hit the ones that are kind of close by, and kind of this, you know, like a baseball bat. If you're swinging from start to finish, if anything's in the way you're going to hit, you don't have to be dead center there. And that's something else they put in that was kind of cool. If you just saw what Sylvia just did, is when she fell down, she ragdolled. Let's see if we can get her to do it again. Hey, get back up. I'm trying to show them something here. And the way zombies can respond now work a little differently than they used to. Is zombies can go into kind of a berserk mode. So if you hit them, you know, one time, and sometimes you'll see that they'll stagger forward a little bit faster. They'll kind of go into a small little rage mode. When they come after you, they can kind of walk a little bit faster. It's just as if you pretty much just pissed them off. They can get to you a little bit faster. As she kind of jogged towards me just for a second before she started walking again like normal, she got mad, so she came running at me just to kind of add a little bit more to the challenges. They'll kind of come at you a little bit faster than just getting up and hobbling along anymore. So if you're doing the old, you know, step forward, hit, and walk backwards trick that we've always used, keep an eye out for them just sprinting after you if you piss them off. And one more thing, for players that don't like to just play on Navezgane, they want to play on Random Gen World, the devs went through and they did a whole new system. They built it from the ground up basically on how it generates Random Gen Worlds. They used an in-house solution for it, and from everything that I've seen and everything they've said so far, it works way better than it ever has before in how it generates random worlds. So it should be a lot more seamless, a lot less crashes. And at least in this build here, they even included 3 pre-generated worlds here, the 8K worlds that you can just start up from scratch. So if you're wanting to just drop into a random world, you can have one made that they already pre-generated. And so it shouldn't take near as long to actually load. Even if you have an old, slower system, it should be able to drop in relatively quickly, and you can get to playing on a random gen world. Now, I haven't explored these 3 worlds, so I don't know what kind of layout they have as far as what is and what isn't there, or, you know, which one is better than the other. But hopefully having these new style regen world or random gen worlds will definitely help out for a lot of the players. I'm definitely going to try and do kind of a Let's Play series or something in the mix where I am doing a random gen world instead of just on Navezgane. Okay, started off. And we started off near a hospital. Oh, nice. Okay, so we started off near a town already. And earlier versions of this game, starting off near a town was pretty much a death sentence. You didn't go to town until it was time. Until you were like really leveled up here. But we started off right next to a hospital. Got the popping pills right there. Nice. And you can see it didn't take too long to be able to load this in, and it's working just fine. I'm at 60 frames per second. I mean, I do have a decent system that can run this game, but hopefully this kind of balance changes to Random World Gen will help you guys out a lot that like to play it, and for people that have different systems, older systems. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up here. This is just a preview video, give you guys an idea of some of the things that have changed. There's lots of other balances and optimizations they changed, changing up on the way XP is gained in the world. They changed up the way the attributes are done, zombie balances, the way they hit. There's Lots of things they changed. There's new music. But like I said, this is just kind of a preview to kind of give you guys an idea of what's changed. Again, if you're interested in entering the giveaway to win a code for Steam, all you have to do is just leave a comment. Quick note, if I didn't say it the first time, if you download it right now, it's only going to be Alpha 17. Once it's released to the public as 18, then obviously you'll have an opportunity to play that too. But if you get the code and you think, oh good, I'm going to play Alpha 18 earlier, it's still Alpha 17. So just keep that in mind. And and that's what a demolisher zombie does, is it just runs towards you and blows up when it gets close. Let's see that again here. He's got the hobble on now. Shoot you near the leg. These things are crazy. Look at the size of the hole he put in that. Man, that would suck if this was your base. Uh-oh. Okay. So that's what the demolishers do. Nice. Alright guys, well hopefully you found this useful. If you're not already, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. You can join in, be part of CappNation. If you found the video useful or enjoyable, do me a favor and hit that like button down below. And in the meantime, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later.